My name's Megan. I'm a homeschool mom of two, and welcome to my channel. Listen, if it wasn't obvious by that introduction, I do just want to give you a caveat that you are now at the Hot Mess Express homeschool side of the internet. Today's video is the first in a series of collaborations between myself and a whole bunch of other wonderful secular home educators who happen to be on the YouTubes. This particular video is hosted by Shanna from Making Everyday Magic. I'm going to link her channel below. You can go check her out. She's another secular homeschool mom. And you can also click through the playlist for today's video, where you will see all of the wonderful secular home educators sharing with you what is in their homeschool cart, which is, of course, the topic of today's video, what we're going to be talking about. So, with no further ado, I'm gonna go get my cart and introduce you guys. Here she is, Mr. IKEA cart. All right, so this is my homeschool cart. I know a lot of the other home educators have carts or other small homeschool spaces that they're going to be sharing with you guys in the playlist below. So this is a pretty classic old IKEA turquoise cart here. I've had this since my first kid, so I'm going on 7 years now. And this cart has had so many lives. When I first got it, it was for sure just to hold diapers and other baby accoutrements next to my changing table. And then we, of course, used it for supplies. And now, to be honest, I'm not really the type of homeschooler who has a cute little cart that they can bring out and use when it's time to do school. And that's because I have a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old, who, if I were to put loose, lovely, colorful, sparkly homeschool supplies in this cart, my little toddler would have her little fingers all over everything and take it apart within seconds. So really, the function of this cart in my homeschool now is it sits next to my homeschool desk, and it's just a place that I put things that I know we're going to be using or that we need to use, kind of just like the supplies that are on deck, you know, the ones that are getting ready to help us out. They just kind of end up in here. But I realized there's actually quite a bit of really cool stuff hanging out in this cart. So I thought I would show you guys, give you guys some maybe some supply haul inspiration. So let's pop the hood and see what we're dealing with. So the first few things that I'm going to show you guys that are currently living in my homeschool cart are things that I would file under the category of like teacher supplies or to teacher professional development. And I want to begin by showing y'all my cute little thermal laminator. Look at that. Now, talk about a homeschool supply that I never, ever thought that I would own, and that is the thermal laminator. This is just a really small one from Scotch brand. I got it off of Amazon. Its appeal was that it was really inexpensive, and it's really small and lightweight. I'll link this below. Just looks like this, heats up really quickly, and it does not have a laminator roll inside of it. Instead, if you want to laminate something, you have these like pouches. Essentially, they're just these laminating sheets that open up, and you put whatever you're wanting to laminate inside, and then it feeds through the thermal laminator, sealing those two plastic pieces together and giving you this really wonderfully laminated product, right? Incredibly affordable. And I actually kind of made that decision to be like, yeah, maybe I am that type of homeschool mom that owns a laminator, because I was making so many like printable mushroom guides or bird guides or really awesome things that I was finding off of Etsy, and I just wanted a way to laminate them so that they could really hold up when I toss them in the backpack when we're using them in the woods. Okay, in addition to laminating things that I might be getting off of Etsy that are like for unit studies, I've also seen a lot of projects using these particular laminating pouches that seem really cool. So as the leaves start to change color here, probably next week we might go collect some leaves and place them in the laminator sheet, right? And then press them through to make like leaf collages of the changing leaf colors. So the laminator has actually been like this really cool tool that I've brought into our homeschool this year. I'm personally in love with it. The next thing I'm going to categorize as like teacher supplies or professional development is this book, Red, White, and Blue Letter Days, An American Calendar, and this is by Matthew Dennis. Matthew Dennis is actually a professor of history for the University of Oregon, and this particular book just goes over the historical, more like the historical memory and narrative of American holidays. So looking at Thanksgiving, Independence Day, Martin Luther King Day, Memorial Day, holidays that are specifically and uniquely American. I'm actually using this as we start to prepare for talking about Thanksgiving and really trying to bring like this balanced perspective when explaining to my kiddos what can be a holiday of conflict, or maybe like that there's some nuance that needs to be added to the conversation of Thanksgiving. This is a pretty dense read. It is definitely written for like a academic perspective, all right? But if you're not wanting to just have to chew through this book, I do like that it's split up into chapters based on the upcoming holidays, and Matthew Dennis has a few articles that he's written about Thanksgiving that really pull heavily from this particular book. But I highly recommend it. It's a great read, and I got this for $5 on Amazon. Okay, so the next couple of things that I'm going to show you that live on my handy dandy cart are really for my youngest kiddo. She's almost 3, and these are just a few things that I'm working with her on currently that I keep meaning to introduce. So it lives on the cart, which lives next to my desk, which is like my constant reminder that we need to get to, or things that we need to work on. Okay, the first book I want to show you was a book that was gifted to us by my mother-in-law, and this is ABC Creeps, a spooky alphabet book. And she just got this for us off of Amazon. She knows that we're really into spooky season, and now that it is that month, it's just a really fun way to go through the alphabet. Like H is for haunted, J is for jack-o'-lantern, but then surprisingly, it does get a little bit dark. Like O is for obituary, right? But I gotta tell you, for this kind of macabre, spooky little family of mine, we're all about it. Love the illustrations, the simplicity, anything that we can get that's gonna reinforce that alphabet and bringing in new vocabulary with words, especially because this one also explains what the object or item is that the letter stands for in the alphabet. In that same vein, I also have this book that was gifted to me by my mother-in-law from Amazon called the Halloween ABC book for kiddos. And it's the same type of stuff, right? L is for lollipop, like Y is for Yeti, and these are just coloring sheets that go with that alphabet sort of reinforcement. And like I said, my youngest daughter, she's close to 3. It's not that I necessarily think that we need to sit here and like hammer home the alphabet, but she does have speech delays. So any type of book that allows us to naturally bring in that alphabet conversation, to build those letter sounds, and to bring in images that we can use to build vocabulary, I'm here for it. The other thing that I have that I'm working on my littlest with right now is this set of emotions cards. I got these off of Etsy for like $1.99. I'll link these below. And speaking of that laminator, looky here. I have these laminated, and I like these particular cards because it is showing real faces, but it also has the Spanish and English word for each emotion. So it's fun because we can talk about bringing in those Spanish words for my 7-year-old who's really interested in languages, as well as just working on those descriptor words with my youngest. And we have a mirror for her, like a handheld mirror. So when we go over these, she can practice the emotions that she sees on the card. I'm really just trying to build in that language for her. So, laminator, get yourself one, right? Okay. All right, this is the last thing I have on here that is for my youngest, and these are the Paint with Waters books by Melissa and Doug. You really need to look into these. They are super cool, and I'll show you why. So at the top of each page, my kid's already been in this one. I'm trying to find a page that she hasn't already painted all over. So at the top of each page, so they've got an image to paint, and then at the top of each page is this little palette. This is actually dried watercolors. So when you sit down with your little one, if you just need something to give them that's going to occupy their mind, work on those fine motor skills, all you need is a dish of water and a little paintbrush, because the paint is already built in right here. So they can just go to town, right? Get their colors, go down here and paint. It's an easy cleanup. You're not bringing out paints or cleaning up a whole bunch of stuff. And because it's just like a kind of almost like a coloring book, but for painting, it doesn't matter. We're not super precious with it. So you can also see we got some markers that ended up on these dolphins as well. But it's just kind of a fun one to bring out and have as an activity to keep those fine motor skills fresh, right? Providing them lots of different opportunities to express. The next few things that live in the cart that I want to show you guys are things for my 7-year-old specifically. So the first is this box set of books that I got from Sam's Club, and this is the Ivy plus Bean Secret Treasure box. So Ivy and Bean is a little book series for kiddos who are really just stepping into that independent reading stage. And it's stories about two girls who are best friends and the adventures that they get into. Really, we haven't read any of them yet, but they have nice illustrations, and they're just good little chapter books to get into for adventure. My 7-year-old is really getting to that age where she's really making those bosom friends. Anna Green Gables, anybody? Anyways, she's really making those bosom friends, and so her friendships with her little friends and her Girl Scouts are really becoming important to her. So I thought that these books would hold her interest as a way to really dive into the complexity of female relationships and friendships. We are working on reading, so the other things that live in this cart for my 7-year-old are our sight word flashcards. We have several sets of these, and I will link these below. They're really fun, off of Amazon, just kind of tough set, comes with the rings, holes punched already. And I like them because they have little picture illustrations on the back as well. And this is something we may just pull out every now and then and go through, as well as trying to set some challenges and reward games with my 7-year-old. We also have the Bob's book, Sight Words, and this is the kindergarten level. I really love these because it is a way of teaching sight words while putting it into a book. And I think that's important for kids because the flashcards may not have much relevance to her, hence the reason that we may establish games or challenges or a reward system for the flashcards, but the books make sense, right? She's getting that positive feedback that she knows these words, these are sight words that she has seen repeatedly, but she's being able to read them in a story. And so I think that's really important. So like here we have Matt hid. And if you've never had a Bob book before, you should totally check them out from your library, see if you like them. I think they're adorable. And the illustrations always just get us cracking up because there's always something a little off about the illustrations, and they just kind of make us laugh, as well as just being this really great resource for literacy. The last two things that I'm going to show you that live in our cart are our latest subscription boxes that we've received. We have really awesome grandparents, and they have gotten us really amazing subscription boxes, and I have our last two that we have here that we just haven't gotten into. So I've got my handy dandy box cutter, and we're going to get into them so I can show you the subscription boxes that we use. Our first subscription is the Radish Kids subscription, and this is a culinary or a cooking subscription box. So I'm going to open it up and show you. Every month there's a theme, and sometimes it's based off of geography, and other times it's based off of like picnics, like a culinary concept. So let's see what this month's is, and I'll walk you through what comes in each box. Ooh. So the theme for this one is Thrills and Chills. Comes in a little packet like this, and each month they get a little patch for the different regions or the different topics. So thrills and chills, because of course it's spooky season. And inside, oh, it's always going to come with a piece of equipment. So this one is an ice cream scoop, and these are really high quality actually. I've really enjoyed the little tools that this kit comes with. Okay, so inside it's going to show you like, oh, here's a little breakdown of what this month's theme is. And then it has recipe cards. And these are nice because they're tri-fold, easy to follow for kids. There's lots of pictures. And they've got that plasticky lamination on the outside so you can wipe them clean. They're really tough. They're not easy for the kids to destroy. Usually the ingredients lists are very, very simple and easy to follow. And then it also has some information like blender safety, right? Different tips. Oh, we've got a goulash here. And an ice cream pie, yum. And it just also gives you some information like on the back on how to serve ice cream. Comes with a little science experiment. This one's candy science, as well as some different candy experiments. And then every month comes with these little table talk cards, which you can pop out and use as conversation starters. So for example, what gives you the chills? Or what thrills you about cooking? I usually pop these out, and if you have seen my How We Homeschool in the Car video, which I will link below, I use these in the car as well as just conversation starting cards. We really love the radish boxes. They don't require a lot from us, and we've actually found like some of the best recipes, seriously, the best recipes that I've ever used have come from these radish boxes. And so my kids get really excited whenever they show up. Our next subscription service that we use, and this one's a new one for us, so I don't have too much of an opinion on it yet. I'm trying to find a site I can show y'all that doesn't have our personal information. Oh, here we go. But these are the Groovy Lab boxes, and these are like STEM subscription packs. So they usually come with a theme and then several STEM activities that you can do. All right. I need to be smarter than this box to get it open. So when you open it up, it comes with a lab notebook, and this one says Stitch a Circuit. So this box is all about lessons in circuits, and it's of course your instruction manual, as well as a place to write investigations, or like what you are learning. So of course lots of pictures and illustrations, as well as all of the supplies you need to carry out the activities. I mean it, like all the supplies. Even, for example, clearly we're gonna have to measure something in this experiment or in this box, so it's gonna come with the ruler as well, and any other kind of supplies that we may need, right? Oh, look, even like a toilet paper. Even like a paper towel roll, it's just gonna come with that already. So these are really open and go. And to be honest, I have yet to do one of these with my kiddo because the first box that we got, I actually saved, and when we had a babysitter, it was an activity to give to the babysitter, and then they could just do it all together. And it was really fun, and they seemed to really enjoy it. So Groovy Lab in a box. After we've used this a few more times, I'll for sure like do a review on it if you guys are interested, to really see what it looks like as we're going through it together. Okay guys, that's everything that lives in my cart. I really hope that you found some maybe inspiration, or even just some great resources that you think might work in your homeschool. If you like this video, please check out the playlist below with all of the other awesome secular educators who are making those YouTube videos. Of course, that is linked below. So listen, you guys. Is it perfect? No, baby. And it was never gonna be. But is it done? For today it is. So until next time, bye.